Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beauty School Bobby podcast. Today, my guest is Dimitra Louro from Malia Hair Extensions and from DHC & Co. Salon in Massachusetts. She is an incredible inspiration and somebody that you should be following in the beauty industry. She is so real and so authentically herself. I love when I meet people and immediately am drawn to them because I know exactly what I'm getting. She is definitely one of those people. So when we met at Beauty Gives Back in Chicago in September, her and I just immediately, like, I saw her from across the room and her whole team. And I was like, Mark, we have to get her on the show. She just came in with such a light. The whole team just lit up the room. And I just knew that there was something different about her. And her speech and talk that she gave at Beauty Gives Back just did not disappoint. So I'm so excited to introduce you to her today. She has such an incredible story. She is somebody that has so much grit, so much passion, and truly is the example of making your own way in the beauty industry. She is a college dropout that now has a worldwide extension hairline and just really has figured it out along the way. But not only that, she's really big on community and sharing her knowledge and what she has learned with others. So she also is a salon coach. So definitely, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you love it as much as I loved getting the time to speak with her. And just make sure at the end of the episode that you review, rate, subscribe. Just give this episode 5 stars. If you're listening on podcast, make sure you click that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And don't forget to follow me at Beauty School Bobby on all social media, and make sure you follow Beauty and Style Network. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beauty School Bobby podcast. Today I'm here with Dimitra Louro from Malia Extensions. I am so excited to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here too. Thank you.
Now, you do so many different things in the industry, and I intentionally, like, your videos show up on my social media all the time. And I intentionally have been like, I don't want to ask questions. I don't want to do anything until we're like in person where we can talk about all of this, because your story is so interesting. And I first just want to say, I'm so thankful for your openness and your honesty that you share on social media, but then also at Beauty Gives Back. I met you all and it was hard to miss you at the show. And something that I love about you all is you showed up as yourselves. Like, this was a day where you could not miss your group. And I love that you put yourselves out there on a day where I'm sure you were nervous. I'm sure that you were like, okay, I'm going to go speak in front of a ton of people. Talk to me about where this confidence comes from to show up just as you are, to show up and glitter and glam and just be you. I want to encourage more people to do that. So I want to talk about a little bit where that comes from. Have you always been this confident, or is it something that you're building, right now?
I definitely have I've always been confident in my skin, but never about the beauty industry. And I really feel like over the last couple of years, when I was starting to really build my brand and I really started to understand the why of this business, is really when I started becoming a lot more confident. And I really feel like there's a lot of things on social media that, make people hide. And I'm not that kind of person. And I wanted everybody to know that, like, yes, I am successful, but I also, like, it took me time to become this successful. And I have made mistakes and I have issues, I have problems. And I really feel like it's always like the pros on social media. And I really just wanted, like, no, there's negativity around this industry and from, where we're going and what we're doing. And I think that just started making me feel more confident when people were like, oh my God, I have that issue too, or I'm going through that too. And it was just nice to see. And I think my confidence really started to grow from there, for sure.
Well, I think it really is encouraging to other people that are coming to shows or are going to get these opportunities to speak on a large platform. Because I think the students in the audience or the people that were there listening can kind of engage with you more when they feel that authenticity, right? I feel like there's a difference. We've all been to the shows where you see someone on stage and you're like, oh, okay, they're not maybe really being themselves, or you can tell that it's scripted, or you can tell your talk, speech, whatever we want to call it, for the students that day was anything but that. You were truly yourself. And I think that that is the thing that is going to skyrocket you even farther. You are so successful just by, industry standards already, right? But I know that that's not enough for you. And I know that you have bigger things that you want to do and more people that you want to reach. And that's why I'm excited for you to kind of be the example of this and to talk about why that's important and why it's not just, as CEO sitting behind a desk and whatever, you're out there, you're in the world still and doing that. So you're also a salon owner. So you're in Massachusetts, correct?
Yep, right outside of Boston. I'm in Rainham, Massachusetts, small little town, nothing crazy. Yep.
Yes, but this extension company came from that. Tell me about how that all evolved.
It was insane. I had a very small salon, and then, I had my two managers that kind of I asked them for my help, and we decided to open up this larger salon and really be able to give this town and surrounding towns just this like vibe and energy that they don't have to like go so far away. And we ended up, having the extension line here, but it was just we were using it behind the chair, and I had like this tiny little desk and storage area for all of these extensions. And it really, honestly, as you saw, Taylor was there. Taylor did my hair, and she came to my class and really believed in my product because she didn't do extensions like in that way. And she posted something on social media and it blew up and it went viral. And here we are today. And I couldn't have done it without her in the viral sense. But it kind of just fell on my lap. Like, and so I'm not even lying about that. Like, people are like, oh, this must have been planned. No, I never even knew what a distributor did and how it worked. And the amount that I have learned, it's funny. I'm saying this now, but yesterday I was saying to my husband, my mom, and my dad, we were all just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, I grew a multi-million-dollar business not knowing what I am doing. And that is the honest to God truth. I'm still learning. Like, Black Friday just happened, the amount of sales and like even mistakes we made from that. I'm like, how are we running this bit? It's insane. It's incredible. And I think that, from being on stage at Beauty Gives Back, I didn't prepare a speech. I can't prepare speeches. Even being here today, I didn't want to know.
Wait,
Everyone's like, what are you guys talking about?
you did that speech just off the cuff?
If I plan anything, it does not, it doesn't come out authentic. And I can't pretend to say something that I don't really mean. And I think that that's why because I got so many messages after that being like, where did you come from? Who are you? Like, this is crazy. But I feel because I was authentic, and it really was, I was so nervous. I cried on stage. I was trying not to, but like just saying my story, I have real serious problems with my hands. And, I think that so many people just related, and it's just because it's just really what I'm going through. And I'm not trying to be this like fake person on social media. Like, sometimes I don't wear makeup. I don't do my hair. I don't have extensions in, but it's okay. Just be you. That's what people are going to love, is you. And I'm not that person either to be like, oh, it's all about me. And all of a sudden these people are like, I want to take a picture with you. And I'm like, what is happening? So it's amazing. And honestly, Beauty Gives Back to that whole like that is another whole amazing thing that I am a part of now. And it really kind of showed who I was and let myself loose too for the first time the way I did. And I can't thank that organization enough, like Mariah especially.
Yes, she's so incredible. And Mariah, I think we all felt it that day. We've talked a lot about this event on the show, but I think that the one thing that we all came away with, like if you were in that building or in that room, you felt something. Everyone felt something so big. And I had a conversation with Mariah after, and I was like, I need you to make sure that like you feel this, what you gave to all of us, this thing that you're following and, you know, kind of the next right thing. I think that we all feel that. And Mariah just has a way of seeing a light in you. And I really trust, like, when Mariah sees good in you, I'm like, that person's good. I can't tell you how many people she has brought into my life that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just knew they were good because it came from Mariah. Like she really has that light. And I think she brings people together that all feel that way also. And I mean, I think you sharing that, like you're jumping in and figuring these things out as you go is such an important message, especially for young stylists or people that are new to the beauty industry, because you see these people on social media and they're, you know, I talk to high schoolers a lot and they're telling me who they're looking up to and all of that. And I always say, because that my whole story, my whole experience is you just figure it out as you go. You have to like walk through the door that is open for you and you will figure it out. And you will be given the tools and you will grow into the person that is ready for that door to open. And I know that you have gone through so much and shared so much about your journey. But when you look back, you can see like, oh, I learned this from this thing or this from this thing. And now that has made you put you exactly where you are to be able to have this company, to be so successful. I love that you share how successful you are because I was actually just listening to a podcast with Charlotte Tilbury and I just couldn't get over my jaw was like dropped the whole time. She was like, yeah, I did this and I did this and I did that. And I'm like, I love that. Like when you're somebody that can back it up and somebody that can do something, share it, talk about it, give yourself that credit. We always want to kind of like, I feel like we've been taught or raised to be like, oh, humble and whatever. And I think there's a place for that. But you being like, no, I made this money. This company has grown to this is so important because that is showing the next generation that like, A, you can do this with hard work. Cause I love that you share what it's come from also, but that the possibility is there and you will figure it out if you're open to that. If you allow yourself to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to start. I think that is the most important thing. And I love that you've done that. What is something, because I know that you, with your salon, you've shared online and you do salon coaching as well, which I think is amazing. What is like one point that you can look back to and say, that moment is when it all changed, or that mistake, that failure of what people else would what is the moment for you that you're like, that failure was the thing that got me to here?
COVID failed my salon because I didn't know how to run a business.
Mhm.
And me accepting help and wanting to grow a team and it not being I was the biggest moment that completely changed my entire career because yes, I was the one that was like, okay, this is what I want. But my team and my managers saw my vision and wanted the same thing and grew together. I could never, ever do this by myself, ever, nor do I want to. It's just not as much fun. Like now,
Mhm.
after this Black Friday, where we had a meeting this morning with the team, and it's just like, you guys, we just had the biggest like it's just incredible. And seeing their faces light up and them being a part of it definitely is just it's the best. It's just it's team. It's my team. That is what my failure for my salon brought me to the best team ever to bring success to all of us.
How old was your salon when COVID happened? How long had you been a salon owner when you had to like kind of switch into the role of like, I've got some big decisions to make here to keep my team alive, to keep, you know, these people fed and doing well and to keep them? How old were you as a business owner?
So I first started my very first salon at 22. So I was very young when I first started in the industry. But this particular salon, I was there for 10 years because I've had multiple
Wow.
salons where I sold them. But this one was 10 years. And that is when I feel like the salon industry just really shifted.
Hmm.
And I really think at that point in time, it was like the make it or break it of our industry. And
Absolutely.
getting the business coaching that I needed to really, and I invested like 40 to $50,000
Wow.
in coaching. And people were like, there's no way that you spent that much money. Like, you're absolutely crazy. And I'm like, I have receipts. I've worked with multiple business coaching, but
Mhm.
those people that don't see it are the ones that are just narrow minded, which is fine. Everybody wants their own way to success. But I said, I am going to put myself through coaching, almost like college, and I am going to come out the other end. And I did. And,
Where
I
did you
didn't
look for
graduate high
help at
school.
that time? Like, where did you go to look for somebody that was gonna be able to help you? How did you find that?
Social media, Instagram, an ad. And
Okay.
it was one of my first coaches out of Houston. And I called him, and I remember I was like, okay, I just told this guy that I cannot afford to keep my business open. And he just asked me for 20 something thousand dollars. And I'll never forget. I was like, yeah, I'll like let you know. Meanwhile, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna
Mm.
do this. And he's like, I'm gonna ask you one thing. Where do you think and what do you think is going to change in 6 months of you doing what you're doing that you know is not working? That was it. Completely changed my entire life. I signed up with him right then and there, put it on my credit card. After working with them, I signed up with another coach, learned a bunch of other things, and that's how my path just kind of went down, and learned, and built this salon out. I went from 1,200 square feet to 3,500 square feet, and then went viral and just built my warehouse. So now I have 6,000 square feet. And I'm actually, one of the biggest things I'm doing right now is I'm building a cafe right next door with a boutique, and just continuing growing and learning. And by the way, I have no restaurant background. So again, it's learning as I'm going because I want it and
Mhm.
I know I can do it. And it's because I've learned throughout the last couple of years that there's a way to learn to do everything. And if
Mhm.
you're good at it and you want it, not even good at it because I'm not good at it. You can do it. You can research and do anything that you want to do. You just have to put your mind to it and have the right people in your corner.
Yeah, I think there's this idea, right, in the industry that like, okay, you graduated beauty school. Great. Now that's all you have to do. I mean, you saying that, no, I needed help. I needed coaching. I needed business. I needed this. Like, just being aware that, like, you need help, I think sometimes is the biggest thing, being open to the idea of community. But that goes hand in hand with you wanting to get back to your community so much. I know that with the coaching, you just want to go and help other people that are in the situation that you were in. You're like, listen, I know what I can do to help you. I know what I needed, and you want to share that. I think it's so obvious that you are somebody, I mean, just by you mentioning your team being your purpose, you looking for help, going and doing this to give back, that this isn't about you. That is the one thing I think that separates the most successful people. Like, you'll see people, I mean, I'm sure that we could name names and it would be similar people that we've seen that you're like, I just can't even buy into what you're saying because I just know it's not real. You're not for the best of everyone. You're just trying to make a dollar. And that's not your vibe at all. And I think that that is something, that is so special, and why I wanted to talk to you, because I think, we need more of this. I think the growth in the industry and the change that we've seen over the last 5 years truly is elevating people that want what's best for everybody. We can't do this alone. I remember, I mean, I came into the beauty industry 13 years ago. And in our area, I'm sure it was similar where you were. The salons that were big, it was a lot of ego. There was a lot of ego there, and there was a lot of me, and I've got it, and I'm going to be a part of this group or this club or this coaching company that just feeds me. And I think, at least in my world, it has switched to the people that are getting popular, that are getting a platform, are the people that want what is best for everybody. Do you think that you were kind of drawn to the beauty industry and want to keep this going because of that, because you know that there's other people kind of wanting to build that community as well?
For sure. And I really do want people to like understand that there's other things you can be doing other than hair because we don't have 401k. We don't have
Mhm.
insurance that goes through our work. So it's kind of like we can't do hair forever. Like I literally physically, like my hands hurt. I can't do it. They cramp up. And I'm 43 years old. So I almost had to find something else because like what happens when we get to a certain age and we can't do that? Like, we
Mhm.
don't have a retirement fund. So it's like, no, there's other ways to do it to set yourself up for success. And that's what I try to teach my team. So everybody on my team, like, not only are they hairstylists, but one of the girls helps my assistant. So I pay her like a separate little, money. One of my girls runs my boutique. So she has a separate little job to be able to set everybody else for success that I'm doing for myself. So
Mhm.
I definitely feel, and it's funny that you say that about influencers and people that you can't buy into, because it has become such a fake industry in a way that we need to make sure that people like me who are here for the good, we do come out. That's why I come out so authentic. I'm never selling anything. I could be sitting here
Mhm.
talking about my extension line the entire time, but it's just not who I am. And that's why I think Taylor posted me and it went viral, and Behind the Chair reposted her. I really think it's because it's the honesty that comes with who I am, to be able to give back to other stylists, to be like, hey, we can do so much more other than just hair. And there's different ways of
Mhm.
doing things.
Yes, it's the message that we are like screaming, like not only on the podcast, but like to the students at my school. I mean, we always are just even in admissions. We're like, listen, we want to give you so many more opportunities and continuing education classes or just the business classes that we offer because you need to know all of this. And then what you do with that when you leave is going to be either what path is set for you and you're going to excel in this thing. But I think that the more opportunities, the more certifications, the more classes you can take. All of that is so important. I think on the front end, I think most of the students that I'm working with, they're just like my goal is to get through beauty school and that's fine too. Like I think having one goal and being like I have to get this to get this to get this is okay. But even just having the idea in the head that you exist, that this exists, that there are other things that you can pursue for the people that are going to stay in the industry, right? That are going to be successful. You just need to know that it's not just one way, one thing. And as long as you pass state board, you're good. That's just like not at all how this industry works. And I think the sooner that, students or young stylists can hear that, it's so important to have those role models to look up to. So I want to go back a little bit with you. So when did you know that the beauty industry was going to be for you? What was it that like kind of flipped that switch to say, I'm going to do this. This is my path.
You mean to go into the hair industry?
Mhm.
I dropped out of high school. And my mom told me, I don't care what you do with yourself, just do something. And honestly, I went into hair school because I thought it was my easy way out, just to get
Mhm.
my parents to like leave me alone. But I don't even think I like washed my hair back in the day either. So like I really went in blindsided. I had no idea. But when I went in there, and I started being around, other women that were even men that were doing hair, and like the teachers. I don't know. I feel like I just loved the atmosphere because, everybody likes to talk. And that was me. Like I was just a very outgoing person. So I had no game plan in the beginning, none. And that's like the honest to God. It was really, I dropped out of high school, needed to get my parents off my back. So I went to hair school, and it just kept, good things just kept happening and happening and happening. But I know it really stems from me just being a good human and being around good people all the time. So
Mhm.
when did it change? I think just being in hair school in
Yeah.
general.
What was it? What was going on in your life if you're open to talking that like dropping out of high school? Where were you kind of in life? Were you just ready to go, ready to be done? Was it like this fire in you already or what kind of led you to that point?
So even from being younger, I remember my mom sometimes being like, they want to put you in special classes because I'm bilingual. They want to put you in special classes. And I remember like being in special classes too. And that was what it was. Like, that's fine. And then I went into high school, and I got a boyfriend, and I just started skipping school because he was like in walking distance from the high school. And then I had a massive cheerleading accident my freshman year in high school, and I broke my back.
Oh
And
my
that was
gosh.
when, yeah. So I fell really behind before then from skipping school all the time.
Yeah.
Um, And then I broke my back and it just, I mean, I literally couldn't move. And I was home for 6 months and I did have a tutor, but it just wasn't, I couldn't sit up long enough to like do the schooling. And that's when it really, I felt so behind. And I remember going to school and I was, I think at that point, a sophomore or junior. And I was so embarrassed because I was so old and I was in freshman classes because I missed my entire freshman year. So I almost felt like stupid in a way. Um, and then I just started skipping school even more. But like I was never into drugs in high school. I was never into alcohol in high school. I legit just hated high school. I hated school.
Mhm.
I'm more street smart than book smart any day of the week. And I'm okay with that. It got me to where I am today. So that's when it really took a turning point, I think, was after my accident. And I was like, I'm just done with this. And I think my parents realized it too.
Yeah, I think coming out of that was something like with a fire to do something and just kind of landing where you are. I mean, I think these things don't happen by accident. So again, whatever you believe or whatever universe, like manifestation, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
I think that there definitely are paths set for you, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna trust my gut and go here, even if it's that you didn't have a burning fire. Like I think that you're probably somebody that could go into any industry and be successful because you have a drive, you have a work ethic, you have critical thinking, like you said. It might not be book smart. And I think a lot of us feel that way is like we all maybe didn't do great in school or just skirted by, but you can still be successful. That story doesn't
Mhm.
end there if you have that fire and drive to work hard. I think those two things have to go together. You have to have that work ethic. And do you think that I mean, I think that you do just based on what you have achieved, but are you somebody that like really like can credit your success to your work ethic and your drive? Is that something that you've always had?
I've always had a drive. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. Like it's
Hmm.
getting accomplished one way or the other. And I 100% get that from my parents. Both my parents have incredible work ethic. Nothing was ever handed to us. I always had a job. Like if I was out home from school sick, my parents didn't let me just stay home. Like they owned a restaurant. I went to the restaurant with them. So eventually I
Hmm.
stopped wanting to be sick because I would always
Yeah.
have to go to work. No, but I definitely have to give myself credit for that. I have the drive and I do have a work ethic.
Hmm.
Unless I'm super sick or something is happening, like I'm going to work. But I love what I do. So I don't
Hmm.
care. Like I'll work 7 days a week, it's just when you love what you do, I don't think it's work. I just think it's you just show up and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. No, you said you're bilingual. So where are you from, or what are you second generation? Like, what is that story?
So my mom was actually born in Russia and my dad was born in Greece. And I speak fluent Greek, can read, can write. And yeah, my parents moved here when they were kids. And, I think my mom was like, she was 20 and my dad was about 21 too. And they came here and built their life here together. And but ever since I was a kid, the day school ended to the day before school, began, my parents would always take us to Greece with my cousins, my grandparents, and basically just growing up in Greece, which was incredible.
Amazing.
And now what's amazing is that we're doing it with our kids, my husband and I, and we are actually launching our hair extension line in Greece this spring.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Congratulations. That's
thank you.
amazing.
Yeah, we just got back from a trade show. We went there. Malya, so the extension brand is Malya means hair in Greek. So that's how the whole name
Oh.
came about. So when we went, what was really incredible is that I didn't know Europeans are a little difficult, and I didn't know they were going to take me in being a Greek American going to Greece, but they saw that the name was Greek and they were more interested. And then they came to talk to me. And even though like my Greek is not perfect, they were like, good for you. We love this. Like, and they just took into me. And, we left there and the message is like, when are you guys coming? We loved you guys. We loved your hair. So yeah, we're just starting the process right now. I'm a Greek citizen also. Like I have all my paperwork. So it's a little bit easier for me to get going over there. So we're hoping to launch in the spring.
Wow, that is so
Yeah.
full circle and amazing. I know that that's something that you have to be just so proud of, to be able to bring something to Greece too, and to be able to be like, okay, we're launching this now worldwide. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. I'm really
That's
excited. I
awesome.
almost can't believe it's happening. And when we were there for the trade show, it was really surreal because, a year ago, I was like, is this really like gonna happen, ever happen? Then we went viral and then now we're here. That's why like it's so important to surround yourself with good people that are gonna put you up, like put your social media out there, talk to people, be a good human being, and you never know who's watching, and
Mhm.
where your career can really take you.
Yeah. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for you, and I hope that you'll be sharing like this process of doing that and to really getting to be worldwide. I mean, that's honestly so amazing, and I'm so happy for you guys because I think
Thank you.
there's something about you spending time there and growing up. I know what that means to be able to be like, okay, we're going to bring this here, and I'm going to have a business that's here, and then you're going to be navigating all sorts of new challenges of operating overseas and all of that stuff, which I think, again, just is something else to keep in your back pocket, more experience, more knowledge for you to grow even bigger. And I think, again, your story of being a high school dropout, but then being able to do this is just, it's so amazing. I want to ask you about your coaching. So I want to talk about what you're seeing in salons right now, and what is the number one issue, let's call it, that people are coming to you about? What are people sliding into your DMs about, as far as issues in the salon, or what's the biggest thing that you're talking to people about right now?
I think one of the biggest issues is people are afraid of their team. They're afraid of people walking out. They're afraid of
Hmm.
people. So it's almost like they're, and I remember because this was me. I remember I was afraid to talk to my team because I didn't want to lose that money or I didn't want to whatever, and they would walk all over me.
Hmm.
So that is the number one thing is that people are like, how do I take control over my team to not just be a boss, but to be a leader? There's just such a huge difference between a boss and a leader.
Hmm.
But the thing is, and the problem is that so many stylists and salon owners are afraid to change their tune because they do not want to lose their team. But to me, when I did it, I aligned with my culture and my core values of what I wanted under my roof. And that's what I'm trying to teach them. And that's what I'm trying to tell them is that you have to want to do it and you have to be afraid of losing people. And that's
Hmm.
okay because they just don't see the vision that you see, but you also can't be going broke because then nobody's going to have a roof to be under.
Right. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
clear communication is super important. I've seen this even as salons have come in to talk to the students. I'm like, tell them everything. Like, even if you think it's going to be like, oh, well, they're not going to like that the associate program is however many months or whatever. No, be honest about what it
Mhm.
is. Like, be as clear as you can, because although all 300 of them might not be like, I want to go to this place, not all 300 of them are for you. So I think that clear communication of goals and ideas is so important. Like, if you don't fit with your salon, great, that's fine. Like, happy that we know that prior to you coming in. But I do think that salons are afraid to open up and to say, hey, this is who we are. That's my biggest piece of
Yeah.
advice when I have salons that come in and talk to the students is like, be you, be honest about whatever your program is. And if you think the students are going to shy away from it, okay, well, make sure that it is the way that it actually needs to be. If there's something inside of you that's like, oh, I'm scared to say this, like, okay, that can be either, just insecurity, or it can be like, okay, maybe that's not what's best for the industry right now. I mean, I think there's definitely both sides to it, but just being open and honest about that. And I'm sure that, when you're meeting with people or managers are meeting with people, like, it is clear you're either, this is a good fit for you or it's not. And that's okay. There are so
Right.
many stylists, there are so many people, that it's not like there's not someone else that can come along and is going to be better for your salon.
Right, exactly. And I think that that is where a lot of people are like, yeah, but where am I going to find people? When you start putting out, even on social media of a certain way that you are, you're going to attract those people. So, like,
Mhm.
even for me, I don't have to go out and look for a team. People like they want, like, hey, I've been following you guys for a while. Like, I love your vibe. They can feel the vibe. And the ones that don't, it's okay, but I don't just hire to just hire. So I think that's one of the
Mhm.
biggest things that I work with. And then another thing I really, really feel like a lot of salons are struggling with is they're comparing their prices to the salon that's next door. And
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't realize is you don't know their overhead. You don't know their rent. So, like, their overhead and expenses might be completely opposite of yours. So, you can't do your prices based on who's next door. You need to do them for like what your expenses are. So, I think those are the two things that I really try to, those are the ones I attract to be able to really help them. And yeah, I've been working with so many salons, even from like startup salons to ones that have already been in business. And it's a lot. I feel like that is my business coaching is probably one of my most stressful jobs that I do.
What do you think that is? Why do you think, I mean, do you feel like I kind of have an idea that maybe you take on a lot of the responsibility of it, especially if they're
Yeah.
paying for you? I think that's a stress is you want to fix it. Like you want to go in and I'm sure with people coming to you with problems, you want to fix it. Is that what makes it stressful or what do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking on, they're paying a good amount of money to hear what you have to say. And it does put a lot of stress because you want them to be successful too. But I think the most stressful part is like that so for me, I always give them like 2 to 3 options. I tell them how I do it and then of 2 other ways that they could do it that might work better for them. But I think it's when they tell you they're going to put something in place and then you go and do a follow up like a week or two later and they're like, I got scared. I didn't want the clients to question why, we have a charge of whatever. That is the most stressful part. And I'm like, you are wasting your money paying me to train you in something that you are not, that you are afraid to do. I've
Mhm.
given like people's money back because I'm like, you're wasting your money on me. This is not what
Mhm.
I am here for. I'm not here to put you in more debt. I'm here to help you. So I have actually given money back. So I think that that is what is so stressful about it is they rely on you a lot in a different
Mhm.
way.
Do you see different parts of the country operating since are in so many different salons, even with the extensions and stuff? Do you see a difference in other parts of the country, or would you say that kind of across the board, things are pretty similar, same challenges, same things? Or are you seeing different problems in different areas?
I think same challenges, same things. I feel bad for not feel bad, but I feel like commission salons have really shifted. And a lot of suites have gone up. So I think that a lot of salon people are going to the suites, which then commission salons, are struggling. But I think one of the biggest shifts that I'm seeing is that a lot of salon suites are closing down and going back to commission because they're starting to
Mhm.
realize like this is a lot. So
Mhm.
overall, the same problems, I think, across the country.
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, we're seeing this here in Knoxville for sure, where the suites came in, which is so weird because like everything hits Knoxville late. Like I'll talk to people all over the country and I'm like, okay, well, this is coming in. I can kind of temperature gauge what's gonna be coming down the pipeline. But the whole suite situation hit Knoxville commission salons pretty late. Like I want to say we were probably like one of the last to really have this. I mean, people were talking about it years before it actually hit us. But what I do know also is that we're also seeing what you're seeing, where people are going back to commission salons because the reality is that not everyone is meant to be a business owner. And I think suites are wonderful for a lot of people. I think that, you really have to find where you fit. But, being a business owner, we know the challenges. We know the 24/7, we know the grind. Like we know all of the things that come up. And I just think not everyone is meant for that. I think, the freedom is what a lot of people are attracted
Mhm.
to, but the reality of that is you often have less freedom when it's you're ordering and you're scheduling and you're now a business owner. And I think sometimes people don't always think about what that is going to be like and where you're somebody who's like, well, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to problem solve and I'm going to, do whatever I need to do to survive. I don't know that everybody has that, that drive. And I think if you've left a commission salon and you went into a suite and it didn't work, it's okay to go back. I think I'm
Right.
really, really big on like, you can always move and change your path when like, okay, it didn't work. And like, we both done things, like, we know that like a lot of business, like there are things that don't work and you just have to move. It's not a failure or something that should cause you to leave the industry or this thing that you love. I think that sometimes can just mean you weren't in the right place in the beginning.
You want to know what the biggest problem in the beauty industry is? Is that anyone is allowed to open a business. That
Mm-hmm.
is the problem. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff, and I was the problem. I dropped out of high school, went to beauty school, and 2 years later opened a salon. I had zero idea what I was doing. And yes, I made it and it worked. But at the same time, I did not have the business sense of opening up a salon. So we are allowed to open up a salon without any business sense, which then, of course, you're going to have your problems of like a toxic salon because that business owner has never had a class or anything of like how to run a proper business. And a lot of salon owners just want to be everybody's friend. And unfortunately, that does not work in the beauty industry. And when you're an owner, like, yeah, you can
Mm-hmm.
be friendly and you can be friends. I have some of my best friends, but at the end of the day, my business is what feeds me and my family. And that's what needs to go first, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like, but what is good about beauty schools right now, I've heard a lot because now my extension line is really starting to go into a lot of hair schools. And they are doing a lot more business things and like having students understand, which is awesome. I wish we had that back in my day, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it is really good for, I do love that beauty schools are doing that because I think it's super important to teach the stylist of it's not always easy to just open up a business.
Yeah, we make our students we like Shark Tank the situation a little bit. We've been doing this for probably like 6 years, but they have to open up their own salon or the estheticians have to open up their own spa. And they have to literally find like how much is it per square foot on a lease in Knoxville or wherever they want to be. How do you apply for a business license? What is it going to cost you? Your back bar? Like you have to choose a product and you have to have a back bar because financially, I think a lot of people don't understand what that startup looks like. I
Yep.
think for us, it was always like, there was this kind of behind the scenes for us. We were like, well, if we do this, it's going to make them realize how hard it is. And then they're not going to go out, on their own right away. Now, that's not everyone. And I think, we all know that there's a different path for everybody. So if they are
Right.
going to go that route, at least they're prepared, or they're going to sit there and say, I am not ready for this. And it's going to encourage them to look in a different place. But just even as we're talking, I think the next thing, that we need to add in is the leadership stuff. And for me, I mean, I follow so many different people for leader. I'm listening to a million podcasts that have nothing to do with the beauty industry to, get leadership tools and leadership this and that. And I think we're looking elsewhere. And I think the next phase is really going to be how to be a leader in the beauty industry and what that looks like, as a salon owner. I think the sooner that we can mold that and show positive leadership, for me, it's, servant leadership is my thing. And I want to be able to show up for our team in a way that is feeding them and growing them and all of that. But there's a lot of internal work that you have to do to be a good leader. I think a lot of people don't do it and they say in leadership roles, but I think that it's
Mhm.
honestly more internal than anything else. I mean, the things that you'll find out about yourself when you're starting to do these classes or you're listening to people, you're like, oof, okay. Like I know a big thing for me this year was, as leadership, setting the temperature. And our friends, were talking a little bit about that on their show and podcast, but you're setting the tone, you're setting the temperature, good mood, bad mood, how you react to things. That's something that I mean, you're Greek, I'm Italian. So I'm like, we both have a fiery soul. Like we both are like a little fiery.
Yeah.
But learning to control that, I think has been the biggest growth, that I've seen. Who is somebody that you kind of look up to, or who's somebody that you've gained leadership information from?
Ugh. I love my girl Stella. Stella is from Comey Salon in Vegas. She was a huge inspiration to me. Nick Mirabella is a huge inspiration. I listened to him a lot. And Pip University, Heather.
Mhm.
I did a lot of stuff with them. But I think they're my three core people that I have to say that, like, when they say something, I literally pay attention. I listen. They don't sugarcoat it. I'm not a sugarcoating. You're not going to make friends, and not everything is fun and in la la land. Like, no, reality is reality. And I think that's another problem that's wrong with the world today is like, no, snap out of it. Like, this reality check. The hair industry is not easy. Hustle, and I think that they have really taught me to, and you're so right. I was such a spitfire, and that was one of the biggest things that I needed to bring my words in. And it's the way you talk to people. And I still, like, my two managers who are my best friends too are like, Dimitra, reel it in. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like, so I definitely feel like that was my biggest learning curve too, was to bring that in. But yeah, Nick, Stella, and Pip University, I think were the three top people that I always like refer back to.
Yeah, and I think allowing yourself, I mean, you're not that much ahead of me in age, and I think that there's also something where we're changing as well. I mean, personal life and all of that stuff, like we're growing, and I wish that I would have known in my 20s what a growth time my 30s were going to be, and how much from like me turning 30 to where I am at 38 right now is a completely different person, and it's constant work, and it's you might have something figured out and then you're like, you know what, that wasn't the right, or this is how I should have handled that situation, and understanding that like that's a lifelong thing, that there's not going
Yeah.
to be a day where you're going to be like, okay, cool, so I figured out how to be a good leader now, because that's when something is going to hit you that you're like, whoa, I didn't know how to handle this. But as long as you're working on getting better and you're not somebody, because I think what was the beauty industry was a lot of this is just how it's done, this is how, and it's like, no, this is just like an ever growing thing of, your salons, your businesses are a reflection of you. You're not who you were probably even 2 years ago. You're different. And I think that allowing yourself that change and having people around you on your team that are going to change and grow with you is so important. And if who you were 10 years ago and you had somebody on your team, it fits, and maybe it doesn't now, like it's not so scary to let go of that when you know what is right for your company and your business.
Right. I love where I am in my 40s. I wouldn't go back to my 20s. I love where I am. And
Mhm.
it is the growth that you make, and like being able to, my 20-year-old self would never ask people for help. My 20-year-old self had too much of like a high head. Like, I would never be able to grow what I have now. And it's pretty badass of where, I'm going, where we're going. And I'm obsessed where this industry is going. I think it is, there's a couple things I would definitely throw out if I could, but you know, I'm all about building up a team, building up confidence. And to be honest with you, my hair extension line, the number one reason why I really grew it to where it was, and why a lot of beauty schools are taking me in also, my butterfly weft brings and teaches stylists the confidence to be able to move up in their extension world. So it's the biggest thing that a lot of stylists are missing and lacking when they first come out is the confidence.
Mhm.
So this almost, before you go into a more difficult situation of sewing or like more precise, this is more something that teaches you that confidence to be able to move on to the next level. And I think that that's super important too, that we need to teach a lot of students now, or even everybody. Like, social media has made it where you have to be perfect, because God forbid you're not perfect doing an extension. It's, you're going to get like called out on, or whatever the case may be. But it's, I think confidence is another thing that I really pride myself on, to really be able to help a lot of hairstylists gain.
Yeah. Now, I saw you talk about this a little bit on your social media, and I wanted to talk about it. The Hair by Chrissy last week there was like a huge, revolt against pricing and how this was all running and what this actually was. Now, I do think that like when you are so large on social media, you become a target, right? And that's just part of
Mhm.
playing the game. Like you got to know that as high as you are, you can be taken down real quick. You had a really interesting take on this, and I wanted to talk to you about how you kind of felt about how all this went with the reviews of a company and what that actually means for a product or for a salon. If you are listening and you're just a customer of the beauty industry, which is all of us, but talk to me a little bit about what that felt like for you or what your take was on that.
So I did have a very interesting take. Did I agree with how he handled the situation? Absolutely not. I don't think you should ever attack anybody. I don't care how old they are. I don't think anybody should ever be attacked in that way. But what I don't agree on is, all of a sudden praising this girl to, all of us being like, oh my God, $4,000. And then I can't believe somebody charges $4,000. Not for nothing, but she clearly made it. Her views are still up. People don't realize that you putting the fuel and clicking on this not famous girl, it's giving them views and follows and money, and it's a marketing scheme. And if you actually look into marketing schemes, you will really see that like I'm going to stop clicking on them. You're only giving them bait. And then what really bothers me is that, and I love this girl dearly. I actually messaged her because I want her to jump on a call with me. I do not agree with a stylist flying another stylist out to be able to do her hair. To me, there was nothing wrong with the girl's hair, right? And for somebody like you, who people bash on you every single day for your pricing, to now all of a sudden give the authority to everybody to complain and leave reviews because they want to become TikTok famous. They want to get their money back. They want to get free hair. Like, you're only not helping us smaller guys because you're big. You're already making money. This is a publicity thing. You're not going to do this girl's hair and not put it on camera. Like, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what bothers me. And I really want to understand her concept of flying this girl out there to help her.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you're doing for the hair industry?
Yeah.
And again, all due respect, everybody runs their business like a certain amount of way, but the fact that I had somebody call me and tell me, well, I'm just going to do a social media post just like that, you'll get taken down. What?
Yeah.
I was so angry and I kept my mouth shut for so long because I think a lot of stylists were afraid to get canceled. But if you want to cancel me for being a better person and just kind of, running my business and I just don't agree with a lot of it. And like I said, somebody tears you down, you don't feel good about it, but yet you're tearing that person down. So it depends how you want to look at it. Was it the $4,000 problem? Was it that the girl, he didn't do the hair? What exactly is the problem? Because the girl that's fixing it gets ragged on every single day for her pricing. But, in her defense, she's the one that does the hair. So I just think people are batshit, to be honest.
Yes, 100%. And it's a crazy world to jump in because I know a lot of people like this now scares people from sharing who they are because, like you said, they don't want to get canceled. Like it's hurting everybody. And the positive is that, we can talk about it and we can be like, yeah, this isn't how everyone feels or whatever. But for that person, like it's hard to take that hate and it's hard to be at the center of it. But again, you kind of put yourself at the center of this thing that you were trying to tear somebody else down. So I think it all is intention, right? Like if I'm going to go on and post something negative, I have to be ready to take the heat for what that's going to look like on the other side of it, too. And again, like you can have your opinions about how someone else is charging, like don't go to them then. Like then don't participate. And like you said, don't click and watch. I mean, we all have to be smarter than this social media game. Like it really is so
Right,
insane. And for people that are like just logical, you're like, what are you doing? But it's not that we're not always dealing with, logical people. But I think, the bad review, and I think the video that I saw of you taking it or talking about this is, one bad review can truly hurt somebody so deeply. And like people don't understand that. Like they're mad about their hair, they're whatever. Like go to the salon and talk to them about it. Like that's the easiest way to get anything taken care of is go and be like, hey, I'm not happy with how this went. And what can we
right.
do to fix this? And I know that 9 times out of 10, the salon owner is going to do the right thing and say, hey, okay, you weren't happy, like blah, blah, blah. Let's, talk about this or find a solution. But just going on social media or leaving a bad review, I mean, that's your name. That is your business that you're working for. And one
Right.
person seeing that is going to deter them from coming to you. I wish people were more sensitive to that.
And that's the problem is, yeah, it's you're not just putting that one person down. And so I'm actually my next video that I'm posting is about a bad review that my salon got. And this woman posted something. I called her and I'm like, listen, like we would love to fix it. Like we're not perfect. It is what it is. And
Mhm.
she's coming back to fix it. But at the end of the day, her review is still on Google.
Mhm.
So why not just call us, have us try to fix it? If you then hate it, then you can leave a bad review, but you didn't even call me.
Yeah.
So that's another thing is just like, but I don't think that people don't know what they're doing. I think they
Yeah.
do know what they're doing because
Mhm.
I personally would never leave a bad review. I would either
Mhm.
one, not go there and it is what it is, or two, call to get my money back. I would never
Mhm.
leave a review because I'm a logical, smart person that maybe that person's just not meant for me. Not
Mhm.
every store, fits your size or whatever. You just go to another store. Like it is what it
Mhm.
is. So I think it's given people too much fuel to a fire that I just think is absurd and it's ridiculous. And you want to spend your money and fly this girl down there and do this. Yeah, you're gonna make a couple $1,000s, but the normal people that actually see what you're doing, like to me, I lose respect for people like that.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And like I said, it's a thing that now stylists have to fear and worry about. And it's like it's just not positive for anybody. It really hurts the industry and it hurts people from wanting to come into the industry or yeah, building a business. Like one mistake or one like imagine if like everybody had those same standards and the same, spotlight on them. I mean, it really is like in the beauty industry and I don't know if it is because it's so female and all of those things. Like, I hate to think that that's, what it is, but it's like we got to be like more logical than emotional. And we've got to be like there
Right.
for each other and wanting to lift each other up instead of just bashing. And we've all had those crazy situations. I mean, I own a beauty school. So, like, the client, like, it can
Oh
get
yeah,
crazy.
for sure. Yeah, for
But like,
sure.
it's important to encourage those people when you see them going through it to I think as beauty industry people to say, hey, I see you and I'm sorry you're going through this, but we're here for you and all of that too. I think that
Yeah.
that's important.
And that's why I kind of want to talk to, this particular stylist. I really want to know her mentality of why did you fly her down? Did you really think, because I think the girl's hair looked fantastic. Was it,
Mhm.
so is it about publicity? Because like, think about it from like a small business point of view. Like
Mhm.
now we're getting, and it's showing there's people all over social media now putting down their stylists.
Mhm.
Like, it just makes me sad, but
Yeah.
I guess just keep being positive and keep looking up and hopefully the world will change.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I want to know if for people that are coming into the industry or somebody that's thinking about coming into the beauty industry, do people DM you, message you? What advice are you giving people that are wanting to do this? That this is a career path that they want to follow. What advice do you give to them?
Do it, saddle up, hustle, 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 hustle. I cannot get hustle out there more than enough. Be flexible. It takes a couple years to build up what you want to do. Take classes, invest in your own self. The beauty industry is the only industry where you can work under somebody else's roof and build your own career. So take that opportunity. Don't expect and wait for the salon owner to do it. Do your own research, put your own work into it, take your own classes. It's only going to make you better. I can't stress that enough.
I think that that is all such great advice. And I think that I hope that everyone will go follow you and be able to be encouraged through you. Because, like I said, you're posting all the time real things like as they're happening, as topics are coming up. And I'm thankful for you to be a voice in this industry. And I'm excited to see, I mean, at Beauty Changes Lives, like I think that this year we all saw something in you. It was hard to miss your group. And I hope that you continue to carry that light. And I'm really excited to see where all of this goes because I really think that this is just the beginning for you. And I think that there are so many lives that are going to be impacted and touched by the work that you're doing. And I'm excited to see the way that your role kind of changes in the industry as well, because I think the more that you're, taking on this leadership and really making sure that you're sharing like your knowledge, I think that there is something big, coming your way. And I think you're just like on that mountain right now, like you're on the incline already of figuring that out. And I'm thankful for the time that you took to speak to us. And I'm thankful for what you're doing in the industry.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I was so excited to chat with you today. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, we'll be seeing each other soon. And, for everybody in the industry, just keep kicking ass and just keep trucking. Don't give up and just do you. Don't look
Yeah.
up to anybody else. Just stay in your path.
And where can we follow you? Where can we follow all of the things that you're doing? Socials, we'll obviously be tagging everything, but where can we follow you?
So there's the Dimi Louro page. It's DIMILOURO. That is where like all my business coaching and like my 2 cents get put in. And then the hair extension line is Malia Extensions, MALIA Extensions. And another thing with the hair extension line is we are for stylists only. We do not sell to the general public. So, you are supported by us, just stylists. So those are my 2 platforms.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to follow. And again, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I just really appreciate what you're doing. And yes, hopefully we will see you all soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Bye.